Alright, welcome back to another episode of Offspring Chaos. Today we're going to take the transmission out of this guy. We're going to pull it out, go back home, pull out the automatic transmission out of that Cadillac, slap that one back in there. So it's hot, I'm going to probably sweat. He's dirty already, we haven't even touched anything, so we're starting off good. Big help to me and Sarah a lot. So we're going to try to return the favor a little bit. That his transmission's having a hard time and it doesn't shift after second gear, so I don't know what's going on with it. Either the solenoid took a crap or the valve body. Most likely the valve body is stuck or there's something wrong with the actual transmission itself. It doesn't want to go into gear, so he had to putz the car over to the house this morning. It took about 45 minutes to go like 15 miles. But we're gonna go to the junkyard, pull out this transmission before hopefully it rains, and head back to the house, yank that transmission, check it over, swap the trans pan, because most likely what they did is they like to drill holes in the trans pan other than pulling the plug, and I don't know why they don't pull the pan or pull the plug, but it is what it is. So yeah, Brian, or nickname is Bones, he's been a big help. Came over and helped us out with our pool filter, and because I had a hole in it, he gave us a sand filter, and he came over and just helped me with a whole bunch of crap. And he's always there for people. So he's got some issues himself, but we're gonna try to help him out and stuff like that. So it's a lot cheaper to pull it from a junkyard. And but yeah, but if you want to come back to this channel and whatnot, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, just come back and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. So anyways, Kyle's going to be coming up there. He's my niece's boyfriend. So he wants to give me a helping hand and stuff like that, so that's pretty awesome. So he's heading up there at the same time I am. So hopefully he can find me out there if I get out there before he does. Ooh, is that a Mustang? Oh yeah, it looks like a Fox body. My kind of car. Anyways, so yeah, I'll see you there. All right, I found one. It's a 2003 Cadillac CTS. It's got the 3.6, the 5-speed automatic. So we're gonna end up yanking this transmission. It's got the exhaust and everything else in the way, so we're gonna spend some time doing that. So I'm still waiting on Kyle. I don't know where he's at. But it's hot. It's gonna get hotter. My toenails are already sweating, so it's gonna be great. So let's climb under here real quick and see what we got to work with. So yeah, you can already see the exhaust and everything's in the way. It looks like somebody already tried to bend it out. So I don't know if they were doing that, getting the car into place or what. So we gotta get the exhaust out. This drive shaft out, and everything else should just kind of unbolt right out. I think the only issue we're gonna have is trying to get the top of that bow housing out, so we're gonna have to see if we can lower down the front cross member, or not the cross member but the front subframe, kind of lower that down a little bit so we can get top of the bow housing, because it's gonna be dang near impossible to get the bolts out of the top of the bow housing. So I'm gonna get started, wait for Kyle to get here and see if we can get crack-a-lacking on this thing. No, I'm just kidding. So while I was waiting for him to get here, the only thing I took off was the exhaust and the drive shaft. Well, like we're really close to it. But yeah, Kyle's working on getting the electrical out. He loosened up the trans lines. Yep. And then we're probably going to just start working on bolt by bolt, getting the cross member taken out, start working on the bell housing bolt, or probably should take off that starter.
Looks like it's bolted to the back
block.
Of the block, yeah.
Yeah, it's good old GM, but I think it'd be easier to get the starter out to be able to get the torque converter bolts out.
Yeah. Probably.
But as you can see, look how tight it is up in here. I don't know if we'll be able to get to the top of the trans bow housing bolt, so we're gonna have to loosen up the front subframe, because my hands, and I know Kyle's hands, ain't gonna fit up in there. So but I did bring a whole bunch of extensions to be able to get up in there, so hopefully it doesn't take us too long. All right, so change plans. We're actually gonna drop this whole cradle down. So there's like, I don't know, 4 bolts on the subframe. Oop, just broke that. Oop, just broke that again. There's, I don't know, 5 or 6 bolts down here holding the subframe up. So we can't actually get above the starter because, you know, my awesomeness forgot bolt or sockets and stuff like that. So the starter actually is a 12 mil 12 point because, you know, the fabulous engineers that we have building these cars make it very difficult to work on. So we're gonna snatch these shocks out and then take out the cradle, and then whatever gets ripped out, and you know, while we do it, just gets ripped out. So it would just make it that much easier for the next guy to get engine parts out. So all right, so Kyle's starting to work on the subframe bolts, taking out the first one. So we're going to take out the back ones first, and then come up here and get these front ones. Definitely don't want to be under the thing, because most likely what's going to happen, hopefully, actually what hopefully happens is that it kind of slowly comes down and creaks down and rips out whatever it rips out. Because if it slams down, then we got to worry about, you know, shit getting broken, and I don't want nothing getting broken on the transmission. So the oil pan or the trans pan will probably get smashed, but it's getting replaced anyways. Come on, muscles.
So you got what, 1 left?
Yep. Watch it not even come out. All right.
Completely take it out, it just stays in there.
Alright, so we're slowly, well, we're taking the last bolt out, so either it can come down really slow or come crashing down, but I don't want all this weight on me, because I would die. Oh look, last bolt, and it's still up in there. Alright, so I'm going to see if I can try kicking it, doing something. Something supporting it.
I was looking at maybe the radiator support on the top here. That'd be a hell of a thing to keep holding it. But...
Hold on, I'm going to see if I can wiggle the tail housing here. Alright, well.
It's definitely something on this front left side.
Is that other side pretty much
Yeah, that other side's moving like crazy. This side won't budge.
We got brake lines hooked up, wiring still, coolant. She ain't going anywhere.
No.
Well, I guess we just work like that then.
Yeah.
As long as we don't have to get under it and get torque bolts out.
Right.
So. Alright, so as you can see, you got all the subframe bolts out, but everything that's still hooked up to the engine, it doesn't want to fully come down. So we're going to try to work like this and get the trans out that way. So, oh yeah, bow housing bolts you can see and everything. We get those starter bolts out. Real safe, yeah, real safe. All right, so I don't know if you guys ever taken these out, but those starters are really, really hard to get out, and for some reason I could not get it out. So we're gonna have to take torque converter bolts out a different way. Yeah, I think there's an inspection hole up there. So we got the trans out. Well, more like Kyle got the trans out while I was messing with the starter. So we're gonna see if we can pull this trans out of here and then get that bell housing or that torque converter out, because I'm not 100% sure if we're gonna need that, but I want to grab it just in case. So, good job, Kyle. It's hot. Sweating. How you feeling?
Not too bad. Yeah, this 15's starting to walk around it.
Okay.
So maybe the short wall.
Oh. It's kind of funny watching the big man try to crawl under the car.
They never warn you about that when you get into cars. That being big is not your friend in it. Oh no, that too. All right, maybe she's 14. Alright, the junkyard train's complete. It took us a few hours because we had to, of course, drop the subframe and everything else, and it's kind of hard working with the tools that you brought, but I'm hot, I'm sweaty, I'm dirty, and I'm thirsty. I think my mouth is kind of replicating the Sierra Desert right now, so I'm gonna go get something to drink and head on home, and then we get to pull another trans and then clean this one up and install that one. So see you guys in a little bit. Alright, we're back at the house. We got Bones' car pulled in, lifted it all up. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on this thing, pulling this transmission tonight. So Sarah's ready. So yeah, like I said earlier, it's really a big favor for a friend, you know, somebody that's been helping us out so much. We just thought we could return a favor and help him out. So enough with the mushy story. Let's take a look at this thing. So first thing that I saw when I saw him pulling up was the wheel. So I don't know if you can see that, but this thing's got some major camber on it. So we definitely got to fix that. It's actually sunken in the top, so most likely it's going to have to be a hub replaced or something like that. So I don't know. We're going to take the wheel off and see what we can see under there. So let's see if we can crawl under this thing. Why is the light way over there? I can't see nothing. Alright. So we're gonna work in the dark a little bit with this little light we got going on here. So so the transmission is pretty much the same, the 5L40E. The only thing that I did notice that was different on this one and the one that we pulled out of the junkyard that's right over there is that the starter bolt or starter is actually on the passenger side on the one that we pulled, and this one is on the driver's side. So most likely we're gonna have to change out that bell housing to make sure that we accommodate for the starter. But everything should be the same. So I did a little bit of research on the interwebs and whatnot, and supposedly they are supposed to be the same, the 5L40Es, built in France. So anyways, so yeah, let's get started on pulling this sucker out.
Lift it up.
Lift it up. Yeah, so we got these metal cans that came with our, what did we get, kerosene?
Yeah.
Yes, we got these metal cans that came with the kerosene, so we've been using it for engine oil and trans fluid and everything else like that. And then once a year, the city comes and does some event or whatever, and we drop all this stuff off to them, so. It's better than pouring it out in the backyard and into the fire. We've never done that before, have we?
With the Christmas lights, never.
Where'd that panel, that clip puller at? Nope. 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 Where is everything on my tools? I know you probably can't see me. I probably look like I just stepped out of a coal mine. I just want to say there's nothing better than working on a car at midnight with your wife. Alright, let's take a crack and look onto the inside. Yeah, Sarah had spent a couple hours after I went to bed at midnight. She was up until like 3 a.m. cleaning the inside. Car actually turned out pretty good. Can't really see too much in here because everything's black. But yeah, everything looks good. Leather seats turned out good. You can feel it. You still feel the cleaner on it. But yeah, everything looks really good inside. Good job.
Hi. Welcome to the I'm a Badass Bitch channel. I'm taking the torque converter, not out. I'm taking the bell housing bolts out. My husband took the torque converter bolts out. Okay, redo.
How about that trans bolt up there?
I spent 3 hours on that took me 5 minutes.
Hey, just because you're better at fitting in tighter places than I am
that
doesn't mean anything.
That has nothing to do with it. You know what I did? I popped that sensor that you were too afraid to unplug.
Really?
Yep. Right in there, bolts loose. Have it out. Not even 5 minutes. My husband's been under here bitching for like 3 hours with this bolt.
Well, I
have to take the whole
not 3 hours.
Out. The starter's up my
no,
ass.
I had to take the starter out. That was
You're
corroded.
making me turn it on the wrong way.
You turning what on? Anyways, yeah. So we got the starter out, most of the bell housing bolts out, drive shafts out, electricals out, torque converter bolts out. So all we got to do now is get the top 2 bell housing bolts out and the trans lines, and this thing should wiggle out. So we're almost there, honey.
Almost.
In today's episode of We Messed Your Stuff Up, we're gonna hook this ratchet strap up to it and see if we can get the pump out.
With a ratchet strap.
With the ratchet strap. If I actually put it in the right spot.
And I don't know if it's a 2.3. That might be the 2.3.
Alright, so taking the pump out, found out that we had to actually take the filter out because the actual filter end piece actually slides into here. Right in here. Somewhere. Anyways, no, in here. Slides into here. That's what was preventing us from getting the pump out. So took the filter out, and then the pump slid right out. And then actually found out what was wrong with this trans actually. So the 2-3 gears here, as you can see, there's no clutch material left on here on this whole pack.
So that's why he was not going into gear. So this is what this is. As you can see, it's super shiny in here. And this is what it's supposed to look like. So this here was what gear you think? 4 or 5 or 1 2? Yeah, so this is what it's supposed to look like, and this is the issue that he was having. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this to that transmission over there so I can swap the bow housing. The pump's gonna go with it, so most likely, hopefully, the pump looks the same. If it does, then we're golden. I'm gonna slap the bow housing on that one, then we can actually start cleaning that one up, that one over there, and then slap it back in, right? All right, so I got the other bow housing off the old trans, and here's the bow housing that came off the old trans. Just took off the bow housing that came off of this one, the one from the junkyard. The pump looks the same, everything looks the same. The trans actually smells pretty good. I don't really smell anything in here except for trans fluid. So I'm gonna work on getting the pump back in. I got the transmission kind of just standing up by itself and kind of propped up using the shift lever. So we're going to try to get this pump and bow housing back on and see how everything kind of slides into place, and see if I can wiggle it all back into place. So wish me luck. Okay. Getting there. I think that's it. There it is. Okay. Went pretty smooth, so I'm gonna get the seal off of that one, the inner torque converter seal, and throw it on this one because that one was a little ripped out when we took it out. So take that one off, get the seal back on here, swap out the valve body or the trans pan, and clean it up, and we're ready to go.
So, what we have here is the leftover case with some guts left in it from the Cadillac. And I went to put the drive shaft on, and it didn't quite line up here on the tail shaft. So, tail shaft swap. Gotta do it. That's what you get when you only get a small selection from a rusty old junkyard laying in glass and dirt, and coming home looking like you lived in the forest for 6 years.
All right, so it's nighttime again. So I got the pump back together. Torque converter is filled. It's back in trans. Didn't really have time to clean it, but the most I did was I cleaned out the trans pan and whatnot, got all the metal clutch material out of it, put some silicone and the gasket back in the pan. The only thing we did fill up was, like I said, the torque converter in here. So we're going to put this trans back in here, and then yeah. What do you think?
I think I need to take this for a moment and show everybody your fancy pink pants that I made.
Yeah. How did it get pink?
Can't say. Something about interior detailing and rags that were red. Yep. That's not a turbo.
Alright, so we got the trans up. Bell housing bolts are up. A lot of the wiring is all back into place.
Sarah's working on getting the rusty and crusty trans mount back up into place. So the holes or the mounts that bolt to the body are pretty much gone up in here. So all we have left are these one bolt on passenger side or driver's side and passenger side that bolt to the frame. So we're gonna have to use those for now and then tell Bones to get all this welded all up in here because it's not gonna have really much more support than that. But we got the trans in there. And then probably tomorrow we're gonna work on the drive shaft and change out that midsection bearing or whatever you want to call it. That we can actually start putting fluid and everything else in here and get it going. So yeah, buddy. So I'm kind of excited to get this thing out here. And I'm really more excited to see Bones be able to drive this thing around and actually have more gears than just what, second gear, third gear. What gear did you have?
First and second.
Yeah, first and second. So, all right.
To complain about my long 20-minute video. We're gonna record some more. Let's hope it's in park. I know. I'm sorry.
So I don't know if you can see that, but the one on the right is Bones transmission, right? And
Yep.
then the one on the left is the one that we grabbed from the junkyard. So they are different. So yeah, that's why we had to swap them out. Well, Sarah swapped them out. Yeah, we're going to throw the drive shaft back in, throw the exhaust back in, make sure it goes into gear one more time, and then take it for a spin. Yeah. And then yeah, we'll drop it back off. Hopefully he's happy, smiling faces. So what are you doing now?
Cleaning up the contact surface for the spacer. Or that's not a spacer. What are these spacers?
Okay, just getting all the corrosion and the rust off.
Yep. Make sure that there's nothing in there to wear it down faster. And lube it up, slip her in, spin her around.
No, because we're using the plugs, buddy. And plus, you're not supposed to be in there, you little gearhead. Yep, gearhead.
You ruined a good pair of jeans. They weren't ruined until I kneeled down and changed so they're on the board and I was trying to get
Well,
this off.
that's what happens all the time. I'm always wearing my nice jeans because you get 1 second in this house to work on something and you want to attack it. It doesn't matter what clothes you have on. So what you working on, SA?
These big old shafts underneath this metal.
Yeah, mine. Man, look at them legs.
Missed it. It's not working. I had the whole thing up center. When I like stuck now.
You putting the mid shaft bearing on the drive shaft, or out to the body, right?
The center support bearing for the double, dual, split. One in the rear, one in the front. Holy macaroni!
So much power.
So it just sits here.
So now we go. So trans is in. Everything's all put back together. I can say that we are missing some bolts, and that's because the spots that we had bolts in, the sheet metal's gone, so we can't really put the sheet or the bolts back in for the cross member, but there's still bolts in there, so they're going to have to get welded into place or that transmission is going to fall in the exhaust, and the whole bottom end of the car is going to come puking out of the freeway. So we're going to let Bones know when we drop the car off tonight. But everything's all back in there. We're going to take it for a spin, fix the back wheel that was kind of gangsta leaning. So yeah, if you guys like what you saw,
It's a long video, and hopefully you learned something. If not, you can tell us, you know, what we did wrong or whatever. But hey, it's part of learning, part of, you know, making videos and stuff like that. But if you like what you saw, please come back and like, comment, subscribe, and all that good jazz. So